Hey, Christ Covenant Church, this Sunday as we gather to worship King Jesus, we are going to be in Psalm chapter 19. This week we're beginning a new series in the book of Psalm called Awe and Wonder. And in this series, I want us to think about the greatness of the character and works of God, and how the character and works of God are presented in the Psalms as something that compels our hearts to worship God, to put more worth in God than in anything else in our lives. You know, the word glory in the Hebrew literally means weight. And what it speaks to when we talk about the glory of God is it speaks to what should be the weightiest thing in all the world to us. And this is so important because in life, we're always looking for a strong foundation for our life. Because we know if we've lived any time at all, that life sometimes, and a lot of times, many times, doesn't go like we expect it to go, and our confidence gets shaken, and things that we thought were so sure, so secure, so steady, and then the bottom just falls out from under those things. Whether it be our jobs and our careers, or a steady relationship, or family, something with our families, or there's just so many things that we can put confidence in life, but we know when we really think about it that we could lose those things in an instant. And because of that, we're always looking for a foundation that's sure and steady. It's like someone says that a certain person is their rock, or no matter what happens, at least I have my talent or my skill or my job, or no matter what happens, at least I have my family. These are all foundations, or no matter what happens, at least I'm living my true self and I've found my true identity. These are all things that people place their confidence in when everything else in life gets shaken or lost. But the truth of the matter is anything except God himself that we see as our foundation or put our confidence in could be taken away in an instant. And so what we're going to do in this series is we're going to think about the awe and wonder of God. How having a relationship with God is so much more and so much greater than just our knowledge of God. But that knowledge of God actually awakens in us a hunger to know God more and to see God as glorious. And that compels us to want to be in right relationship with him and want to treat others the way that we have been treated by God. It's so much more than just a knowledge of God. It's an experience of the greatness and the glory of God until God becomes the most weighty thing in our hearts. And so in Psalm 19 this week, we're going to see how God reveals himself to us in three different ways. First, we're going to see that God reveals himself to us as the creator. And if we were just in our right minds and hearts, when we look out, when we look on the sky and we look on the beauty of the creation and the intricate design of the creation, we see that all these things are shouting at us that God is good and glorious as the creator. We're also going to see that God reveals himself to us as the one who gives us his law. He is the standard maker. He is the one that tells us what is right and what is wrong, what leads to flourishing in life and what leads to death and destruction. God reveals himself to us as creator. He reveals himself to us as lawgiver, telling us the right and the wrong. And then thirdly, we're going to see that God reveals himself to us as redeemer. Because when we see his beauty and his glory in creation, and when we understand his law of what is truly right and leads to flourishing, and what is truly wrong and sinful and leads to death and destruction, we all find ourselves in a place where we just don't match up, where we have sinned and rebelled against God, and where we need God to be redeemer. And in these three things, understanding God as creator, as lawgiver and redeemer, we come to know a God who is worthy and who is the weightiest thing in our heart. And so we learn to love God with all that we are, to love others as ourselves, and to desire to go make disciples. For, oh, we desire to know this God and to make him known to others. And so take a look at Psalm chapter 19, read through it and see how God has revealed himself as creator, as lawgiver, and as redeemer. Think about what that means for every aspect of your life to have such a sure and steady foundation in God alone. And think about how any other foundation that we place our life in is like sinking sand. It can be lost at any times. And let that stir in you a desire to know God and to make him known. We're going to dive further into this Sunday morning as we begin our series in the Psalms, Awe and Wonder. Pray that you have a great rest of the week, and I will look forward to gathering as a faith family, the church, and worshiping King Jesus this Sunday.